Welcome to the show floor of the 2019 North American International Auto Show here in Detroit as ever. And John, you and I are going to talk about the most controversial show floor car. It is the new Toyota Supra, the 5th generation, the GR, and this is it.
Yep, 20 years after the 4th generation left, which car enthusiasts love, Japanese car fans, you, me.
Absolutely, we both did.
Yeah, iconic thing, and Fast and Furious, orange car, whatever. But it's been gone for 20 years, right?
Right.
And so we've seen other Japanese cars return. NSX is back, right? And then Toyota's kind of come into it also with, 86, BRZ, whatnot. But yeah, so finally it's back, and there's a lot of people that are a little disappointed with it because, underneath it, it's a BMW. So they partnered up with BMW to build it. It's a clone of a Z4, but personally, I'm glad that there's a Supra. If they didn't do that, we would have no Supra.
Absolutely. I'm a big Toyota fan. I've got an MR2 in the garage, and which is another car maybe we can talk about later.
Right.
And so I'm really glad to see the Supra nameplate back. Yeah, sure, I wish it were a Toyota through and through, but ultimately this package actually is pretty similar to the original one in terms of its dimensions, and in terms of its performance, it's actually better. A lot of people have been ragging about this thing being maybe a little bit too soft, a little bit more of a tourer than before. But I think that's people misremembering what the 4th gen turbo Supra was.
Right, it was a bigger car. It had a back seat. The new Supra is only a 2-seater, so kind of more of a pure sports car.
Yeah.
But, like the old outgoing Supra, the top range model there was a turbocharged inline-6. BMW brings inline-6 know-how to it, so we got a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6 cylinder with 335 horsepower, 365 torque. 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, which some people are saying, oh, that's kind of slow, but 4.1 seconds, it's not bad, not earth-shattering, but then on the flip side is it's a $50,000 car, so that's the base price of this, 50 grand.
Yeah.
And you get that's pretty decent bang for your buck, I think.
Absolutely, and the weight of this car, 3,400 pounds, is actually about the same as that 4th gen turbo car, which is pretty remarkable. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, 3,400 pounds was a really heavy car.
Yeah, kind of porky.
Absolutely. This car is shorter, but yet wider than the old outgoing Supra 2, so the handling dynamics, the core of the car, the fundamentals of the car are much better, but of course it has way more advanced stability control systems and drivetrain and everything else are way more advanced than what we saw before.
Right, and then standard on every Supra, from the base model to the premium one, is they have dampers, and then you have a torque vectoring rear differential, and that's standard on all Supras, which that's not true on its counterpart at BMW.
And I've been lucky to drive this car, and yeah, it's not a hardcore sports car, it's not a hardcore racer, but it is really engaging to drive. It's really fun to drive, and that was a prototype version. I'm guessing the production version will be a little bit different. But let's talk about the more controversial bit, which I think is the one thing that everyone is ragging on the internet because that's all that people have seen, which is how it looks. And it is indeed a controversial looking car, starting with the nose, which is pronounced. I think that's safe to say.
There's a little bit of 4th generation inspiration there in the front end. I think it looks better in person.
It definitely does look better in person.
And then going back, you got the long hood line, which is standard and whatnot. But the one things that kind of bug me, and I think they do bug you, are all the fake vents that are in this thing.
We got a vent here. That's fake. You can come around to the side, the hood vent. This is also unfortunately fake. Along the door, that is also, I think, on the Supra concept we saw a couple of years ago and on the race car version, these are actually real vents. But now, unfortunately, these are just black plastic. And maybe they're signs of a more performance-oriented car to come.
But potentially, I hope so. Fingers crossed for that. But the design, I think, overall, it's not bad.
No.
4th generation inspiration up front and in the back and the rear as well.
We've got the more aggressive nose, I think, to help differentiate it from the BMW. The silhouette, though, is very similar to what we see in the Z4. And then we've got this aggressive kind of duck-billed spoiler on the rear here, which I like a lot, actually. I think this looks quite good.
I think the back end is probably my favorite part of this car.
Definitely.
The tail lights look good. like I said, it kind of harks back to the 4th generation model.
Right, and we've got really aggressive lights, too, which I think point back to the concept car and look really aggressive, too. I think overall it is, it's a familiar silhouette, and ultimately, given the foundation of the car, there's only so much they could do there.
Right.
But the nose and the tail, I do think, do a good job differentiating it, but it is real unfortunate about all those plastic vents on there.
But I think the one biggest bummer about this is that the transmission options on this. There's only one. It's only 8-speed automatic transmission. ZF Auto, BMW uses it. Everyone uses it. Great auto, but I'm an old school guy. I like 3 pedals.
I want 3 pedals too,
Right.
but that was one thing that I did ask Toyota engineers about when I got to drive the prototype, and they said that it is possible there is a manual transmission that will mate to this engine, and they were coy about whether we'll actually see it. I don't know. I would love to see it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so weight similar to the outgoing one, shorter but wider. Handling should be better.
Wider.
A lot more power, obviously.
Right.
Better handling dynamics. We got the adaptive suspension we talked about. So you should have a better blend between ride quality and performance too.
Right.
Smaller cabin.
Right.
BMW.
BMW.
Which should be good, right?
There's a lot of BMW stuff in there. I mean, infotainment. You have your iDrive controller, which Toyota has their own name for it. It's a rotary dial.
But the interesting thing for me, the steering wheel is actually significantly different than a BMW. You know, Toyotas have typically kind of skinny steering wheels. BMWs typically have pretty
fatter
fat
ones. Yeah.
This feels more like a Toyota in that regard, which I think is good too.
True. And I think they also have their own seats. I think Toyota did their own seats, integrated sports seats, so no integrated headrests and whatnot. So
50 grand.
50 grand.
What do you think? Worth it?
Man, I'm kind of teetering right now. It's like you drove the prototype. I haven't yet. Like I've told a bunch of people, I'm like, I'm going to reserve judgment until I drive it because that's what's most important to me for the car. I think it looks well enough, whatever. I think the price is okay. It's just what have the Toyota engineers done to make this thing handle.
Right.
And because they said, I believe you talked to them when you did the prototype, they did their own suspension tuning and whatever. They agreed on basically the wheelbase, the eight pillar points, and then BMW and Toyota went their separate ways. And so hopefully they came back with using the same basic hardware but different behaving cars with their own different characteristics.
Yeah, it'd be really great to get these back to back and see the difference because there were years that those two engineers, or groups of engineers, never talked to each other.
Right.
So taking these two platforms, or one platform in two very different directions, should be really interesting.
So, I mean, I think that's a good idea for a shootout.
Yeah, absolutely. That should be good. We'll make a note of that. All right, we'll change the topic briefly here. We've got the Supra back. Do you think we'll see an MR2 come back?
Jeez. The thing is, I think if that ever happens, Toyota's going to have to probably kind of what they did with this car, what they did with the 86, partner up with someone.
Yeah. Who would they partner with?
Who's got a mid-engine layout that would want to partner up and
it would
build
be
something
Porsche.
else.
We've got maybe Alpha, maybe.
Oh yeah, there's Alpha there too, but yeah, I never thought about that one.
Interesting thought.
That's a good point.
Based MR2 would be a fun thing with a carbon chassis. Boy, that'd be fun.
Holy cow! Yeah.
All right, let's start the rumors there.
Sorry.
And we'll end this video there. Thanks very much. This has been the Toyota Supra. What do you think? Let us know in comments. Hit us up on social media at Roadshow on Twitter. Let us know what you think because we're very curious what you think and whether you're eager to get behind the wheel of the new Toyota Supra, the 5th gen, the GR here in Detroit at the North American International Auto Show.